Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and we are on part 3. We just got finished saving this, so now we want to show edge wear. And how do we do that? Well, under any metal or painted metal, let's say, if this was solid gold, we wouldn't, it would be hard to see edge wear. Not that there wouldn't be edge wear, it just wouldn't show any materials underneath of it. But if this is a painted piece of steel that was painted gold, which is more likely to happen in real life, not to have something, solid gold like that. Not that that couldn't happen, it'd be cost ineffective to do that, but to make something gold and look like gold, it's easy to spray paint it, but you have to spray paint it over a material, and that's when you'll see edge wear. Okay, so anything painted that has a steel metal underneath, that's more likely to happen than just have solid gold. So what we're going to do is we need to find something to put underneath. Now I just upgraded to 9, so this is painter 9. I have not added any of my own materials in here, and I've got lots of them. So you find your own materials. If you don't like what you see here, of course, SBSAR materials will work in here. You can add them by importing the resources by clicking on the plus key. But I'm going to use, just for purposes of demonstration, I'm just going to go ahead and use the metal brush. I'm just going to drag and drop it right onto that material there. Now the problem with that is that it is above. We want it to be above, but we just need to add. We need to see through it. Okay. So once we added that material, we are going to right-click over it and add a black mask. Okay. So that allows us to see through that black mask material because we masked it black. So without that, it would be silver again. Okay, but without it being underneath the metal polished, we're going to keep it up here and a black mask. And then we're going to click on the black mask, and we're going to add a generator. So we're going to select Add Generator. Okay, now that generator's empty, so we need to find a metal edge wear. So I'm going to click on that and go to metal edge wear. So we're going to click on that. There we go. And we're going to set those perimeters up to something like 0.90. 0.90. Okay, so now you can start seeing some cool things. Let me move this over a little bit like that. Okay. And I'm going to use my middle mouse button scroll and just I'm going to move that around. So I'm going to hold the Alt key and my middle mouse button to move that around. I can scale that in and out with by flipping my mouse wheel, moving it up and down. And you can see that gives me a little more room here. And if you're not working with materials, you can bring that down a little bit, give yourself a little more room that way too as well. Okay. So I'm more interested in not seeing I want to see this, but not as big as I want to see this. So we can see what's going on here. Okay. So that gave us some really cool wear. I would say that's wear. It's not edge wear yet. Wear and tear. So we see some edge wear up here, which is kind of cool. See that? That's what edge wear is, but we don't see it so much in here and around areas like this where I want to see it. Okay, so I think we need to do more. Okay, so we're going to click on layer 1, so make sure that's highlighted. Okay, and we are going to create an anchor point. So I'm going to right click over it and go to Add Anchor Point at the bottom. Okay. All right, that's all completely done now. We're going to click on Metal Edge Wear because we want to connect those two together. And we want to go to Micro Normal at the bottom. Okay. Before I do that, I need to make sure that only normal is selected. Okay, so in layer 1, we will only want normal selected. So you might have all of these selected, but you need to or deselect that. So hold the Alt key and click on normal, and that will deselect everything else. Okay? All right. Now we've done that already because we've painted. So right now we're at the metal edgeware. Okay? We've added an anchor point. And now we need to scroll down to the micro normal and click on that. And then we need to click on anchor points. So we're going to click on anchor points. And then we're going to click on layer 1. This has a little anchor here. Click on that. Okay, so now we've got that selected and we've anchored our metal edgeware. Okay, to the layer normal map. Okay, so we're going to go to reference channel. So under referenced channel, we're going to click this to normal. Now we're just basically telling this property, the generator, that this anchor now is pointing towards the normal map that we're using. Okay. All right. Okay, the only thing we need to do now to make this all work is we need to scroll up to micro details. So here's micro details, but there's nothing underneath. I have to click on the little arrow key. So under next to micro normal, I'm going to click on true. Okay, all of a sudden it changes where we have our edgeware. It starts to show edgeware. Okay, which is really cool. And how much edgeware do we want to show? It's really awesome, and it does it with all the normal detail we have. Okay, so how much do we want to show? That's up to you, of course. We can control the curvature intensity. Okay, right here. Okay, and this is where our curvature maps really come into play. Okay, so that's why we bake all those maps. So I'm going to bring that down a little bit if you want to. We can mess with the height details intensity, see what that does. Okay. Sometimes you have to give it a little time to update. And then the AI radius, we can kind of mess with that. You can see that's I can go up and that adds a little bit less detail to it. And then the depth we can kind of mess with too. How deep do we want those to be? Okay. Right. So detail intensity, bring that down maybe to the lowest setting, and then move this down a little bit. And just maybe bring it up. I like a lot of edgeware. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm going to play with the depth a little bit too. Here we go. And I'm going to rotate around and see what it looks like on the bottom as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, so that's what you're going to do for all of these. The process that I helped you with here, you'll have to do the same process. So watch the video again if you can't remember the process. Again, between videos 2 and 3, parts 2 and 3. And you'll have to do that to all of the different pieces. Okay? All right, something to remember too as well, when you go to your texture set list and you click on your list, each UV map that you have, you have to recreate the process that I went through to get that edgeware. But what I wanted to show you is that you can change the basic setup here to any color that you want. Okay. So you can see that the materials here are set up for this basic material, and the attributes for that material are all under here. Okay, you can click on make a different, like a paint. Like I was looking at paint roll effect. That was pretty cool. So I'm just going to click on it, and it just switched it out. It's really cool. So I'm going to switch it back to the metal paint polish, and I'm going to click on the paint roll to see what that looks like. And I really almost like that a lot better, just because it just kind of reflects. Now don't forget to do the back. You'll have to add all the normal maps to the back as well. So you can, when you rotate this around to the back, you'll be able to see it. So I almost like that better than, like, of course, the gold. Okay? And you can kind of switch between all of them to see which one you like the best. But the paint is probably your best bet as far as what you're going to be doing. Let's see. It looks like I got stuck. Oh, here's the paint cracks and the paint brush. It takes a while for it to update. So, but I like the paint roll. That looks the best. Okay. Of course, you can change the color, and that's the whole idea, is to get this crate looking like what you want it to look like. Another thing to remember is you can go full on white, but don't ever go full on black, because there's no such color as like if you go all the way to black, that just doesn't look quite right. Be careful not to go full on black, okay, which is 0000. Okay, there's no such thing as that color, so be careful with the value of being at 000. You can bring the value up, but just above it is your best bet. Okay, so if you want to use black, I have to have at least 3 different materials, and they can be different material colors, okay, if you want that to be the case. So you can add the same material that you have here to each one if you want to. I haven't tested this, but you can maybe select all of them, copy layers, and then move it to, and maybe paste layers, and it looks like it worked. On that, you can just change the color, I think. I don't think that's going to work for you. I don't know. Will it continue to add the detail that we want? Let's take a look. Yeah, it did. So you can mess with duplicating it, and then changing the color of the metal. So let's see if I want that top part to be red. Yeah, there we go. Red color or kind of a dark green. I can do that. Saves you a little more time, and then you can change the attributes to be a little bit different for this one. There we go, just to make them a little bit different. Okay, so I think you got the idea. So it's up to you how you want to set this all up, but I think I got you far enough along so you can get your details in there too, and that's the top of it. Here we go, 2, and we go to layer, and we can do a bolt on there. Here we go. There we go. And now bolts aren't that big, but what's cool about this, let's say you have a circular object, you want to bolt around it. Let's see if I can find a better bolt. A radial. I wanted to show you the radial. That's really cool. So let's do a bolt with a hex key. Okay, there we go. And over, so let me do this. You can see that little dot when I'm moving it. I'm going to go to the center of this to say I want to put there. Okay, and now I can go in here and do the symmetry tool. So I'm going to Control Z back again and rotate around. This slows down your processor quite a bit, and just click once and you can see those buttons on there like that. Okay, very cool. All right, I'm going to take the symmetry off. Okay, so I wanted to show you the radial tool. All right, go ahead and again play around, make it look as realistic as you possibly can, and then if you feel like I might go back. I feel like there's too much damage on here. Take some of the damage off, but still show edge wear. Then you can continue adding all the details in here, and I want to see details on each piece of this object. I don't want anything left undone. That's going to hurt your grade. I want to know that you've actually tried to place interesting and make this as realistic as possible, and do your best. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Obviously, you've seen what I've done with it, and I just wanted to get you started and get you to understand how you can add normal maps and add edge wear, because if you go to symmetry tool, you click on the symmetry tool, or excuse me, smart tools, you can go down and click on machinery or one of these, like plastic rough. If you look at one of these, or steel painted, that's what I want to. If I drag and drop that onto one of these pieces here, you can see that it does have edge wear on it already, and it works fairly well. It looks really good. Okay, but the problem with that is if you don't know the process of creating this panel here, you won't ever get this to work with the panel here, meaning that if I go in here and add a layer to it and add a normal map to it and put a bolt on there, it doesn't show any edge wear at all. Okay, so it just won't work. So you have to know that process. Smart Materials won't help you in this instance, so I just want to make sure you know that, so you know how to add the edge wear using anchor points. There's no reason why you can't use anchor points on Smart Materials. You can do that, so feel free to do that process with a Smart Material if you want to do that. So anyway, that's it for this tutorial, and I will see you guys. I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. Everything, when you get it all painted, everything's done, I'll take you through the process of exporting all your maps out when you're all completed. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.